Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Writer's Tips and Feedback. I'm Samantha Wright. I am a writer, hobbyist photographer, and wife. Today's video is all about editing as you write and how this is stunting your manuscript's growth. A lot of writers go back and reread. This is a huge issue. If you take a moment and really think about it, we aren't getting any new writing done. We're just focusing on what has been written already. This is causing a very big issue with actually finishing our novels. As writers, we are constantly growing, and it's only natural as we plow through the first draft. Our skill level and writing abilities are still developing. We're still creating our voice. We're still getting to learn certain things about the way we write. We're learning our strengths and weaknesses, and we're definitely getting better as we write. This means our last chapter will likely be better written than our first chapter. And that's really okay. That's expected. But because of this, we tend to edit as we write. This means we write a few scenes or chapters and then end up rereading what we have. And most of the times when we do that, we end up tweaking the words, reconstructing the sentences, or the entire scene and chapter. This is really keeping us from progressing within the manuscript. This turns into a never-ending nightmare. Writers who have gone through this or who actually commit this crime know exactly what I'm talking about. We never get anywhere. By going back and doing this, we never progress. We're constantly going over the same exact chapters and the same exact scenes, and eventually you're going to start hating what you've written. It's a sad realization, but it does happen. Personally, it's happened to me. And if we do progress into the story, it's always at an agonizing speed, to the point where it doesn't seem worth continuing. So stop rereading your first draft. It is going to suck. And I don't know if the secret's out of the bag now, but it's supposed to suck. The first draft should and will suck. We writers need to trust the process and bang out that first draft and leave the editing for later. Trust me. Personally, when I do edits while I'm writing, which I usually do, I find it impossible to finish the project I'm working on. Editing as we write is like the writer's kryptonite. And the only thing that I can suggest is to not allow yourself to read what you've already written. Perhaps put it in a different file and never look at it until you're finished. I don't know how well this would work. I've never actually done it, but it sounds like a pretty good idea that I might actually utilize. We do need to remember writing is a process and it takes practice. We will never develop into the type of writers who can finish a first draft without going back and editing as we write unless we develop a habit. Think of the first draft as merely the basis to get the idea down on the paper, so to speak, where we can string along the story in a somewhat organized manner, and we get to start to learn our characters, and we get to start to learn our surroundings and our settings, and things of that nature. We get to learn while we write the first draft. So just use the first draft as a time for learning. Don't stress yourself out over it. By the time the first draft is actually finished, you're going to have a much better understanding of the story and your characters. And this means when you go to revise, things will pretty much just work themselves out. You'll know exactly that, hey, my character actually wouldn't say this, and this character definitely wouldn't react this way, so I really need to fix this. Whereas in the first draft, you won't really be able to see that as clearly as you can when you finish the first draft. No matter how many times you do edit during your initial draft, those edits will then be edited when you go to revise come the next draft. So every edit that you're doing within the first draft is going to be edited and edited again. So don't waste your time doing that. You're getting yourself all frustrated and you're trying to be a perfectionist when it's actually counterproductive. Overall, just trust the process. We have many different drafts we go through and revisions and edits because it works. The process works. Leave the editing to the coming drafts and just let the first draft act as a free-for-all. We need to get our thoughts, our story, and our characters, we need to get them on the page, and we need to move the puzzle pieces to make them fit correctly. The first draft is honestly there to make mistakes and to learn. It's not about perfection. Before ending this video, I would like to extend another offer to come join us over on Facebook. Our group is also called Writers Tips and Feedback. If you are enjoying the content that I have been sharing, feel free to subscribe so that you get notifications when I post new videos.